MHJ is good to go. Evans is good to go. Kamara trade rumors. Achane value going up as Tua comes back and practices. He's ready for week number 8, according to a lot of reports. So we'll find out if that evolves or unfolds or unravels. But right now, it looks like Tua is going to be a go for week 8, which means Achane, Tyreek Hill, buy them low now, while fantasy owners are sitting here going, I'm going to be one more week away from even knowing what this looks like. But the window's closing. The news of Tua, we knew he could probably play week 8, but the news today that Tua is going to play week 8, that is the plan. The buy low window is shrinking, and the astute fantasy owner in your league is going to start pulling back on the desire to trade Tyreek Hill or Devon Achane. MHJ, like I said, Evans, like I said, we got other players, Cooper Kupp trade rumors. Those probably are bogus, but we're going to attack all of that and your fantasy football week 7 trade questions. Let's go. Appreciate every single one of you. Hit that like button on the way in the door. The fantasy football show begins right now.
Live from the fantasyfootballshow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the fantasyfootballshow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
So let's get to all of this news, and then we'll start answering some questions. Let's first start off with the Mike Evans hamstring off the injury report, will play week 7. This is something that was looking as if it could be murky walking into kickoff. We'd have to find out game time decision. We're hearing true game time decision being tossed around, but I don't think so. He's now off the injury report and he's ready to rumble. So have no fears. Mike Evans is here. Okay, and he's going to probably be a very good buy low for anybody that can get into a last second, trade and acquire a man that has a wide receiver 1 value. Alvin Kamara, there are rumors, and the Saints are actually Alvin Kamara denied requesting a trade to get out of New Orleans despite rumors swirling around New Orleans. But this doesn't mean he's not talking about it. This doesn't mean there isn't something potentially brewing. The Saints are falling apart, and Alvin Kamara is an old man. And while he has enough gas left in the tank to be a top 10 running back this year, of course he does. He looks great for 29 years old. 30 years old is a different story. And if the Saints' hopes of and dreams of a 2024 playoff campaign feel like they're slipping away, and they are, then the Saints need to make a move. Look, if he ended up in Dallas, can you imagine? I wonder if Jerry Jones is smart enough to do something like that, or is Jerry Jones not looking to improve his team at all? Jerry's even said he's not going to be active walking into the trade deadline, so I don't think this is going to happen. But are there other teams that might be lurking to bring in Alvin Kamara? Who knows? Can you imagine him on the Chiefs? Can you imagine him in a situation like that? That would be unbelievable. Then you got the Cooper Kupp rumors. Same thing. KC, a bunch of teams. Buffalo would have been involved if they didn't get Amari Cooper. I don't think the Rams are looking to pack it in. That's the thing that would make me say these are bogus, because McVay loves Kupp. McVay loves Kupp. I don't think Kupp's going anywhere, but he is at that age where if the season starts going downhill, this is a business decision for next year. So you never know. I'm not saying I'm ruling it out. I'm just saying it doesn't feel like something McVay would pull off. And the Rams aren't exactly out of it. There's still a lot of football to be played, and this team's getting they're getting healthy. They're getting their big name players back. So it's not like they can't go on a tremendous run. So I think this one's more BS than the other ones, but there's certainly something to kick around. Like what if he did go to KC? Can you imagine Cooper Kupp in KC catching footballs from Patrick Mahomes? It'd be unbelievable. But again, rumors, just a newswire fodder at the moment. Same thing with Kamara, but Kamara makes more sense because he's an aging running back on a team that's got no hopes and, at all. So whereas Cooper Kupp does, live on a team that has a chance to make some noise here in the final, half of the season when they get all their guns back, especially Puka Nacua. So fantastic thoughts, running through my head about Mahomes and Kupp or Jerry's not trading. Jerry already said, I'm not going to trade for anybody. We're not going to be active, but I don't know. Jerry also said he was going to focus on this year and not sign extensions, and he did. So I wouldn't believe anything Jerry says, one way or the other. Marvin Harrison Jr. is cleared the NFL concussion protocol, will play Monday night. Sources say he's off the injury report entirely, so there's no concern about, do I play so-and-so on Sunday in case MHJ doesn't go? MHJ's not even on the injury report, so this is a full go situation and a buy low situation. I'm telling you, this guy has the talent. I don't care how slow he starts. I don't care if he has another game or two that are up and down. Think about Jamar Chase's rookie year. Jamar Chase went through such a dramatic lull of games, a slump that was almost uncontrollably trade worthy. Like you couldn't even get yourself to say, I'm starting him no matter what. Jamar Chase was going through bad game after bad game, and I remember saying, trade for him, you'll win a league. Trade for him, you'll win a league. And I was wrong for 3-4 weeks in a row. And I wasn't sticking to my guns because I wanted to throw more bad at bad. I was literally believing this. This is what I felt was going to happen, that if you traded for Jamar Chase, you would win leagues. Jamar Chase single-handedly won people leagues his rookie year. If you had the patience, if you traded for him, and when you did trade for him early on from when I was saying it, and weathered through the 3-4 games of slumping that he continued to be on, he skyrocketed to the moon and took people to the promised land. I very, very much believe that this guy, MHJ, who's seen so many touchdown targets that have been off between him and Kyler, that they haven't been on the same page, imagining them getting more on the same page excites me because I see 10 plus touchdowns out of this guy by the end of the year. I still do. I still believe that. And the great part about that is that means a majority of them are coming. Go trade for MHJ on the cheap right now. And that means trade low. Don't go, Smitty, should I trade St. Brown for MHJ? No. Smitty, I thought about trading Lamb for MHJ. No. What about Gibbs for MHJ? No. That's not buying low. You don't have to buy him anywhere near his draft value, which was in the 12, 13, 14, 15 overall value. This guy's a third round equivalent if drafting today, trade market value-wise. Go grab him at that market value, at fourth round value. Throw a couple fourth and fifth round equivalent players of drafting today together, a Deontay, a player that's popping off that you don't necessarily believe in. You go get MHJ in that kind of deal. Let's say you need a wide receiver. Let's say you got Swift. Let's say you got Deontay Johnson and another player. You package, you do 2 for 2s. 2 for 2s are very underrated. Go get MHJ, go get MHJ, go get MHJ. This guy, Tua Tagovailoa, back at practice this week. Set to practice this week, and hope that he will start week 8. There's other reports saying he's fully expected to start week 8 unless there's some crazy setback. That's why I say buy low on Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane and do it now. Do it absolutely now. We'll talk about how to do that. Again, we talk about guys like Nick Chubb, guys like Swift, guys like Deontay, wide receivers. I can throw at you a couple more wide receivers that make a whole ton of sense if you want to go target a Tyreek Hill on the cheap, if you want to go target a Devon Achane on the cheap. There's so many players you could go get in that ballpark of talent. Let's call it even a potential Brandon Ayuk. If he has a good game this week, Terry McLaurin and you need an RB. Terry McLaurin is something for Achane. Let's say you've got RBs like J.K. Dobbins, who has tremendous value right now. Jonathan Brooks, who people are very excited about. Chuba and Brooks together. Tony Pollard's doing very well right now. Swift doing very well right now. These guys can get you into an Achane or get you in a cross-position trade going after Tyreek Hill. If you've got a player like that, Swift, or you have a guy like Tony Pollard, you have a guy like Jonathan Brooks, or Hubbard and Jonathan Brooks, Chubb, even Chase Brown, who we love. Some of these players we like. Some of these players are doing well, and you should continue to start them and not make trades if you don't necessarily need to make trades. But if you are in the business of, I have to shake things up, then you have to trade these names that I'm talking about. Just because I mentioned let's trade away even let's call it a Joe Mixon, who I actually think is going to do really well down the stretch. If you can't win with Joe Mixon, you have to explore selling him high. If you can't win with DeAndre Swift, you have to explore selling him high. If you can't win with, let's call it JJ. You can't win with JJ. Do I want you trading JJ? No, I don't. I'm kind of ashamed that you even have to go that route, to be honest with you. But if you can't win with JJ, unfortunately, you have to trade him. You have to do something to divide one player into two, divide and conquer, as we call it on the channel. It is what it is. You got to look yourself in the mirror, look your team in the mirror, do a self-inventory, a self-reflection, an audit on your squad, and you say to yourself, can I win? If the answer is no, and you've got Barkley, and that's the only player you really have of note that could get you two solid players in return, guess what? Unfortunately for you, because you shouldn't be trading Barkley, unfortunately for you, you have to trade Barkley. Otherwise, you're sitting there watching him blow up on your team, and you keep losing games. If you're losing games with Barkley, if you're losing games with Kyron, if you're losing games with Jamar Chase, if you've been losing two out of the last three out of the last 4 games, and you had Jamar Chase, your team ain't winning the Super Bowl, pal. You have to divide and conquer. It is what it is. Nick Chubb activated. He will make his debut, 2024 debut. What volume, we don't know. Be very cautious, expecting a ton from him. This guy's coming back from a massive, massive knee injury. One that puts most people on the shelf, period. And he's had 2 of them. 2 of a completely dislocated, broken knee. Kenneth Walker, illness, added to the injury report. This is kind of concerning. And then they're activating some players. It makes you a little bit cautious. We got to play this one by ear. But illness makes me think that if they were looking at things right now, the illness could go away like that. If it is an illness, and it sounds like it's not an injury, then this is something that tomorrow morning he could feel wonderful. So this will be a tomorrow morning thing. We'll know right around about an hour to an hour and a half before kickoff. Surprise, surprise! Mason Rudolph starting over Levis, the red-nosed reindeer, getting his shot. Levis is a total failure. And never really believed in Levis. You rarely ever heard me ever mention Levis in good light or ever draft him. I just didn't see it. It's what concerned me most about this team. I know a lot of people thought that the Titans were kind of creating this nice little surprise team. Behind Levis, no thank you. No thank you. And I don't expect him to do anything of note going forward. This one here, Adam Schefter reporting Ramondre Stevenson is expected to play Sunday in London versus the Jaguars. Patriots also didn't promote running back from the practice squad, which would have been necessary if they weren't planning on playing Stevenson. This is kind of like the Walker situation. While we're worried about Walker, what are they doing elevating guys? Is this something where Walker feels great tomorrow, he's going to be fine? We don't really know. Those are the pieces of news right now. By Achane, by Tyreek Hill. Evans is good to go. MHJ is good to go. Cooper Kupp, trade rumors. Kamara, trade rumors. All rumors. No factual information whatsoever. Kenneth Walker is going to be a question mark heading into the contest. Tua Tagovailoa back next week at practice, which is why we're buying low. Levis to the bench. Those are the pieces of news. Kamara, like I said, rumors. That's pretty much it. MHJ, Nick Chubb active. Kenneth Walker. That's pretty much everything. Stevenson's going to play. That's your news for week number 7 that we haven't got to on previous shows. Of course, there's other news and such, but make sure you watch the last night's show in the 8 p.m. show earlier. I'm going to get to some of these super chats. We're going to open up phone lines in a little bit as well. Any $20 haulers will get immediate attention and jump to the front of the line with Fields apparently bench Geno or AR5. I'm going to go AR5, but I'm a risky kind of guy. I'm a wild man. They call me a wild man in the Wild Wild West days. I'm wanted.
These
Top
outlaws are on the run.
on the run.
'Cause they're wanted, dead or alive.
I love his at the end. Denny to the moon. I don't look, I don't sit here and pretend that AR5 doesn't come with a tremendous amount of risk, and we also need to make sure everything's good to go in the morning, but it's a tough question. And you got to go with your gut. Is Geno safer? Probably. But am I going AR5 as long as he's good to go and starting? I'm going AR5. Trade Lamar, Dell, and Joku for Hurts, Diggs, and Algier. I'd probably say this could depend on your bye week situation. Hurts having that bye week out of the way is a huge deal. And I would lean toward the Hurts side if that helps you and makes you have a shot at making the playoffs when maybe you don't if you got 1 or 2 wins. If you got 4 wins or above, then I kind of lean toward this being an even Steven trade with maybe the lean toward Lamar, I suppose. But that's because I love Dell so much, and then Njoku's a pretty good tight end. If you don't need a tight end, then it makes it a little bit more even Steven. But I think if you need that bye week advantage, then Hurts is huge. I'm 2-4, start 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex. I have MHJ, Debo, Mooney, Myers, Jacobs, K9, Mason, Hunt, Brian Robinson. On free agency, there's Jordan Addison. On the free agency waiver wire, there's Jordan Addison, Juju, and Demario Douglas available. I like Juju. Addison's pretty good too. I think both those guys are pretty solid. Do I drop anyone? I'd drop Myers. I'd drop Myers for either one of Juju or Addison. I think Juju's kind of a craftier play for now. Addison's super talented though. Yeah, that's a tough one. I'd say, hey, chat, let him know. You want Addison or do you want Juju? Addison's probably got more talent and upside, plain and simple. So if you want to roll with the upside and talent, go Addison. If you want maybe the more immediate, you know what you're going to get from him. He's kind of sharing the wide receiver 1 role with Worthy, but I think Worthy does take over. But there's certainly going to be enough to be like 50-50 and both still be super productive. But that's tough. As for your team, I mean, you know what to do with your lineup. I mean, you're not sitting Mason or Hunt or Debo or MHJ. You know, in your flex is probably going to be probably right now. If it were, if K9 plays as K9, it's probably going to be Mason. Let's see, MHJ, Debo. Mason and Hunt are your starters. Mason and Hunt are your starters, and K9's you're going to be your flex unless he doesn't play, and then I probably lean toward Jacobs, I suppose. But Mooney's a nice start. Mooney's not bad at all. It's a good squad. You're good to go. QBs are Lamar and Darnold. Wide receivers, Godwin, A.J. Brown, Zay Flowers, T. Higgins, DJ Moore. Running backs, Gibbs, Connor, Bucky, Dobbins, Andrews, Ingram, and Parkinson. Should I trade my Higgins and Connor for Jonathan Taylor? I would probably do that if it was me. I like Jonathan Taylor a lot. I know that, you can get him at a discount now. You won't be able to next week. So I like that. Although Higgins is fighting for a contract, there's a lot to like on the other side. It's just Connor. He's older. He always gets hurt. So I just fear you're going to be looking at 1-for-1 later when Connor goes down. Ladder Worthy. I'm going to go Worthy by a lot. Anything can happen with players in that territory, though. Kelsey, Bijan, and Algier for Pitts, Neighbors, and Achane. I take Achane and Neighbors and Pitts in a millisecond, not even a hesitation. Traded Hunt, Dell, and Hawkinson to get JD5 and Puka. Look, this is hard to answer without knowing your quarterback. Like, let's say you had Kyler already, it makes it complicated because I think you're giving up completely on that value, and you're kind of taking a gut punch at that, taking a big loss by going after a position you already have covered, even if you're worried about it. But if, let's say, you had a much worse situation than that, this is a really damn good trade, bro. Especially if and when Puka comes back, this trade crushes on that side. Until then, until Puka comes back, it's kind of like you're treading water and you're breaking even in some sense, and that's good. That's fine. If Walker's out, do I flex Cooper, Madison, or Downs? I would probably go Cooper, personally. But he could be on a snap count. It's hard to say, man. It is really hard to say. It's just those options don't push me over the edge or anything, especially with AR5 being back and then Downs. If Downs is playing with like Flacco, it'd be different. JD5, AR5, JJ Neighbors, Amon-Ra, Rice, Ladd, Pittman, Juju, Judy, MHJ, Kamara, Achane. Nice team. Traded Swift and Wandell for MHJ. Look, Swift's playing great. If you needed a RB, I could understand trading MHJ for Swift straight up. If you need a wide receiver, I can totally envision and Smitty approve getting MHJ for Swift if you need a wide receiver. Hold MHJ or trade for another running back. If you can flip MHJ into an Achane, which I believe you already have. No, you don't, do you? Achane. Then I would do, yeah, you already have Achane. I think, honestly, I'd probably say if I could upgrade, let's say, I don't know. I think with this team, I'm probably holding. I think, Kamara and MHJ for a Kyren, sure. If you can go that high up, I'd definitely throw them both together. Because then at the end of the day, it's Swift and Kamara for Kyren or someone of that caliber, Barkley. But once you get past like Kyren and Barkley and a few of those guys, Kamara's as good. So I think I'll probably stand down unless I'm trading like Ladd and MHJ for Tyreek Hill or something like that. I'd go after Tyreek Hill, and then past that, I'm standing down because Tyreek Hill's a fantastic go-get. Mike Evans would be tempting too, using MHJ and something. Hey, yo, Big Smitty, help me out. Kyren locked into running back 1. Pick my running back 2 for me this week. Hunt, Najee, Mondre, Bucky, full PPR. Look, Najee looked really good, surprisingly, but do I trust him off of one huge game? Probably not. I'm going to say give me Hunt, but it's very, very close. You definitely trust your gut, and I wouldn't be opposed to either one. Smitty, Burrow, or Purdy. I'm going to go Burrow. JJ for Adams and Walker Sharps. I would probably rather have, if you need the depth, if your team cannot win with JJ, this is a good trade for you. This is a really good trade for you. However, if you had depth and you're struggling to even put Walker in, or you're going to ask me a question a week from now, do I go Walker or do I go with this guy over here like Mixon? Then all of a sudden it's like, why did you trade JJ? So if it makes sense for your depth situation, sure. Is CD cooked? Will London outproduce him rest of season? Connor, you must not watch my shows because I've had nothing but buy low CD Lamb videos since the beginning of this week and last week. So CD Lamb to the mother freaking moon. Top 5 overall player going forward. I get he's in shambles right now value-wise, and that's why we're buying him. But this team is going to throw. And even if they're losing games, they're throwing. Sometimes advantageous to be down and throwing. But if anybody thinks the Dallas Cowboys are completely toast the entirety of the season, I think that's crazy. They're still going to throw a ton. They've got a lot to fix. They're not a great playoff team. They're not winning multiple playoff games. Will they even make the playoffs? Who knows? But this team is still going to fight and have a strong attempt of a bounce back. Drop Vidal for Mostert. I'd rather have Mostert, especially if you have Achane. That's an easy call, my guy. Brian, should I start Debo or Tank Dell this week? I would go Debo. You can't ever sit Debo, my man. Deontay Johnson or Kupp if he plays. If Kupp played, I would start Kupp for sure. Unless there was some snap count verbiage. Should I start Mooney or Bucky? I think you got to start Mooney, especially if it's PPR or even half PPR. Start Mason or Jacobs. I'm starting Mason because he's the second leading rusher in the league. He's second in attempts. He's second in 20-plus yard runs. There's no reason to sit that guy, even in a tough matchup, if we're talking about Jacobs, who I like a lot, but that's more of a flex question, and Mason's more of a running back 2 question, if not higher. Hunt, Jacobs, or Achane in my running back 2. You can't sit Achane, but I'm not telling you to not get Hunt into your lineup because Hunt should have a good day. McConkey or Pop Douglas, I'm going probably McConkey, but don't love either, don't hate either. MHJ, London, Terry, McLaurin, and Devontae Adams. Who do I bench? I'd probably say you bench. Damn, bro. How do you bench Adams, but also how do you trust him more than MHJ? I don't know. I guess, chat, what are we doing here? We benching MHJ or Adams. Let's help Thomas out. MHJ or Adams, we got to bench one. Who are we benching? I got 4 more super chats here, so don't worry if you haven't seen you listed yet. Is Bigsby, Stevenson, or BT too much for Hill? No, I would trade that for Tyreek Hill. I definitely would. Marquez, appreciate your blank $2 hauler. Appreciate you. Traded Scary Terry and Bigsby for MHJ. I think MHJ, Bigsby does a little bit, but I think MHJ and Terry are pretty close, and most would rather have Terry. So I think most will say you gave up too much. But I do think that you're gonna have a day here in a couple weeks, or maybe this week, where I think MHJ climbs back into this conversation. But right now, you did fair market value give up too much because McLaurin's valued higher than MHJ. Again, I'd go get Hill in that situation. We've got this $4.99 from DVO. Rodgers, Dak, Henry, Mason, CMC, Bucky. Do I trade my Henry and Pittman and Adams for Ayuk, Neighbors, and Pacheco? I don't think so. It's kind of close, but I think Henry and Adams are better than Ayuk and Neighbors. The Pacheco Pittman part, we don't even know if Pacheco's coming back. So I would probably lean in that direction. We got another $20 hauler from Shelly. Appreciate your $20 hauler. Shelly to the moon. I think you say you outran the veto police. Nice job. Trade went through. Got CD for Garrett Wilson and Ingram. That's a smash. You're 6-0 for a reason. Your team is off the hook. Hurts bye week out of the way. AJ Brown bye week out of the way. CD Lamb on a bye. Kyron, Walker, Laporta. This is a good team. BT, Higgins. You almost can stand down at this point unless you're throwing like Higgins and Brooks together for like Tyreek Hill. and then you're kind of done. Then there's not much more to do. Higgins and Tracy, Higgins and Brooks for Tyreek Hill. Higgins and Bigsby, Brooks and Tracy, Brooks and I'd even maybe go BT. BT's nice though. I don't even know if some would argue BT's better than Hill right now. And I'm fine with that thinking too. I don't think that's crazy. Thank you again, DVO, for the super chat. Appreciate you. Hello, appreciate your super chat. 2 and 4 running backs are Bigsby, Kyron, Tracy. Wide receivers Dell, Downs, Worthy. Kind of a thin. Trade JT and Sutton or other wide receiver for Lamb. I definitely would. I'd rather have Lamb, but yeah, I'd probably rather have Lamb. So JT, especially because, Bigsby, maybe you just roll the dice on that. And you say Kyron, Bigsby, or Tracy, Kyron, do your worst. And let's see if we can get lamb chops in the lineup. I like that. It makes you kind of a threat. Now, what would you have to give up? JT and Sutton or other? Maybe you have to give up Tracy. Maybe you have to give up, Bigsby. But if you do that, you gotta make sure you keep one of them. But I would do that. Worthy or Down. I'd rather have Worthy this week, and I try not to throw Worthy in the trade. And that would make the team better. I think you might still be one move away, though. I'm not going to lie. I don't know that it's a championship caliber team, but it's closer. Kraft or Pitts. I'm going to go Kraft this week, but damn close. Is Deontay safe play with his injuries? I don't know. He's never a safe play, and he's never a safe sit, to be honest with you. Like, he's always capable, but he's always a disappointment, risk. Depends on your options. Darnold or Murray, I'm going to go probably Darnold for safety, but Murray's got a little bit more, I don't even know if I'd say upside. I would just say, I will probably say you just got to roll with Darnold. Like, look what Darnold's been doing. And pick 3, Bigsby, Cook, Gibbs. Come on. Your question is pick 2. And it's got to be, your question is pick 1. You're starting Gibbs and Cook. It's if Walker's playing, you start Walker. We'll know about an hour and a half before kickoff. If not, it's Tracy, Bigsby. Chat, can you vote in advance in case it goes awry for Walker? Bigsby or Tracy? Tracy or Bigsby? Please vote. At least give me like 10 votes to help out Kilted, so Kilted has a good answer to go off of. Should I trade BT and Jacobs for JT and Pearsall? I probably would, if I could afford to wait the week. If not, then no. But if you could afford to wait, yes. Start 2, St. Brown, London. Come on, you're not sitting St. Brown. What are these questions? St. Brown, you're not sitting St. Brown. London, you got to make a trade. How do you sit London or Godwin? You almost have to start. You got to make a trade. There's no way I can give you this answer. You and I and everybody in here is going to get this wrong, maybe even 70% of the time. I don't even think we could get this right 50% of the time. That's how bad this question is in terms of having 3 guys that must be in your lineup. Legitimate wide receiver ones, really. So you need to upgrade. There's no excuse for having this decision every week. I guess I go. St. Brown always does good against Minnesota, though. You could call it a rough matchup or whatever, but he always has good games historically. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go St. Brown and Godwin, but I don't know how the hell you sit London. Like, that's ridiculous. You have to make a trade. You have to. Otherwise, you're gonna get this wrong every single week. Sit 1/2 PPR Cup, Evans, Debo, Garrett Wilson, Masonite. If Cup plays and he's unrestricted, sit Masonite. But if Cup even plays but it's restricted, you got to sit Cooper Kupp. This one here, we starting Bigsby over Najee. I don't know. Probably not. I hate the overseas games anyway. I'm probably going Najee here. He kind of earned the start in this situation. Traded Bijan Brooks for CD. I like that. I'm in juicy. Let's go. Also, help start sit Chase Brown, Tank Dell. I'm probably gonna go Tank Dell. I'm probably going Tank Dell even if ETN plays, because you don't know if ETN's gonna get all the work. But that's a hell of a trade. That CD trade absolutely may have made you a monster, unstoppable monster. MHJ or Adams. I probably lean Adams this week with MHJ coming back from the concussion, but that's tough. You know, you almost have to make a trade as well. I think you not making a trade could be the mistake of the year for you, because you have an opportunity to better your team and you're sitting on it. So I would probably make a trade. You got to make a trade. Mike Connor and Higgins for Devontae Adams. I would probably rather have Adams by a hair or Jonathan Taylor. I'd probably rather have Jonathan Taylor over Adams by a hair. So Jonathan Taylor got 2 trade options. You read my team in the first super chat earlier if you can find it. Are you saying that there's a question in there that I didn't get to, or should I trade Higgins and Connor for Jonathan Taylor? I already answered that one. I take Jonathan Taylor. But it's tough. It's tough, J-Flow. I'd rather have Higgins, but if you can't weather like I said earlier, if you can't weather not having JT this week because he's sitting out, then you can't really do it. Mason or Debo, you got to go Debo, I think, with the matchup. Got CD for Reed and Burrow. It's Burrow, not Burrows. I have Hurts and AJ being neighbors, so that's fantastic. You absolutely crushed on that trade. You smashed him to pieces. Deontay or one of either Juju, Mostert, or Ayuk. I think I'd go Ayuk. I know he's hard to trust right now, but he's still got the ability. Would you trade Jacobs and Garrett Wilson for Walker? No. I'd rather have Garrett Wilson and Jacobs right now. Walker. Well, Chad, can we vote on that? With Walker, illness is concerning right now. It's not long term. I guess I'd take Walker. Give me Walker. I gamble on Walker. Chat, what do you think, though? Garrett Wilson and Jacobs or Walker? I guess I go Walker, only if you can absorb that loss. Give Mixon or MHJ for CMC and Mason. I would give MHJ for CMC and Mason. Probably not Mixon right now, believe it or not. But I definitely would take both RBs for the one at wide receiver. So I'll play Achane at running back 2. Should I play Hunt or wide receiver Reed in the flex? I would probably go Hunt for safety. If it's full PPR, maybe Reed, I guess. But if it's half PPR or non-PPR, I'm going to go Hunt. So I guess Reed and PPR. But Hunt's very safe. But I'll go Reed full PPR. Yeah, and you're playing Metcalf. And yeah, it's a fantastic wide receiver trio. Smitty, if Ken Walker is out, who do I put in? My other starting backs is Hubbard. That's fine. And I have Mason, Monty, Bigsby, and Connor on the bench. Is it tank time? And I have Mason, Monty, Bigsby, Connor. You can't sit Monty. Monty, then Mason need to go in your lineup before Tank Bigsby. That's easy. And Monty first in the pecking order. But I'm sorry. This week though, my bad. This week though, yeah, you probably got to go Tank. I don't think I could put Tank in. Bears are on a bye, so obviously you can't start him this week. Go forward though. You gotta play Monty. Why am I saying Monty? Monty's not on a bye. You know what's funny is I automatically still in my head correlate Monty to the Bears. Like I'm sitting there going, Monty's on a bye. Monty's not on a bye. He's not on a bye at all. What am I doing? He's bye week free. So Monty, yeah, you can't sit Monty on the bench. That's wild sometimes. How your mind. Yeah, we already addressed. Chris, go to the beginning of the video where we addressed the Kamara rumors. Who else does that? Raise your hand if you see a player, or put a thumbs up if you see a player and you automatically connect him to his old team. I always do that. I look at Monty and I think Chicago. I can't help it. Monty's your start. You can't not start Monty this week. Start 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a flex. Kyler, Gibbs, Brian Robinson Jr., Achane, Bigsby, London, Reed, Kupp, Dell. Start 2 running backs. Need 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. So it's Achane. It's Gibbs. You've got Kupp if he plays. London and Reed. If Kupp doesn't play, probably Dell. That's going to be how I play that. Thank you, Prodigy. Appreciate you for dropping the super chat, my man. Let's see here. Leo with the super chat. Confused. You want me to do a 3-for-1 for Lamb? Leo, you got to ask the question in a separate chat. I don't have your question up anymore. I wish I could put it up, but every question's got to be independent. I don't have it up anymore. 3-for-1. I mean, I'm pretty sure I was telling you to give up whatever you can for Lamb without giving up your studs, but I don't have your question in front of me anymore. Hey, pal, I'll look for it in a second, but I got to get through all these screens. But if you guys are going to ask a second question, you got to put it all in there. There's no way to go back without destroying everything that it got set up, and then it sets everybody back. Hey, pal, standard scoring pick 2. Cook, Jacobs, Bigsby, Devontae Adams, Brian Robinson, JD5 or Baker. You can't sit JD5. I don't care. You just can't. Pick 2, I'm going to go Cook, James Cook, and probably Adams. But it's close. It's arguable, but Adams for me. This one here, non-PPR. Oscar, appreciate you. 1 and 4. Allen, JD5. Why are you sitting on both these QBs if it's a 1 QB league? You've got to make a trade. And I don't want to hear you've tried. You have to figure it out. You have to get creative. You have to almost give away one of the quarterbacks to get the wide receiver upgrade that you quietly know is going to be way bigger than anybody anticipates, or a running back upgrade that's going to be way bigger than anybody anticipates. Going after like a Lamb using DK, or going after a using Najee right now with a quarterback to go get like Achane, to go get Tyreek Hill. Like, you have to make a move like that. Just got offered Debo and Andrews for my Ingram and Dell and Najee. I don't mind that, actually. I really like Debo a lot. I would probably take that, but I love Dell still. And this could be a trade where you do it and you're so pissed off you don't have the Dell points this week, though. But Debo could have a great day, too. He's just the same. So I'd probably say do that, but you still got to get on the ball and make a trade with quarterback away. Made trades. My team is now Josh Allen, Breece Hall, Kamara, Zay Flowers, Tank Dell, Laporta, Kyron Williams. Bench is Sean Tucker, Puka, Higgins. Great job, bro. Great job. Love the team. I suppose the next thing you're trying to focus on is getting Flowers and maybe Higgins together, or Kamara and Flowers, or Kamara and Higgins to go get that Kyren or something like that, or Barkley maybe, or Higgins and Flowers for Hill potentially type of player. Love that, bro. Trade Deontay Johnson for David Montgomery. If you like winning, Tim. If you like winning, yes. For sure. Ron Navy in the house. Ron Navy says 627, well, 664 now, watching and only 116 thumbs up. What are all your fingers busted? Come on, people. Don't be lazy. Hit the like button. Do it now, says Ron, dropping a $20 hauler. All right, let me see if I can go back and find that question from, I think it was Hilo, right? All right, Hilo. Let's see what you got. You were saying you're confused. You want to know if I want you to do a 3-for-1. For lamb, yeah, I was saying go get lamb chops using JT, Tracy, JT, Dell. Even if you had to, I'd like to keep Dell, but you don't really have a lot of options unless you're trading away. I just said be careful not to trade Tracy and Bigsby away with JT. So all three of them, because then you'd be left with no RB and you'd have Lamb. But yeah, I mean, I think I thought I spelled it out pretty quickly and clearly that you give up Tracy or Bigsby, or Tracy, maybe Dell, definitely Downs, probably Trent Holworthy or Dell. But if it required one of them, or JSN's pretty good. JSN, Tracy, JSN, and Bigsby with maybe JT could get you Lamb, I suppose. But if not, go after Tyreek Hill, bro. Tyreek Hill is like a poor man's version of Lamb. And that's a pretty damn good trade to make. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. I think I'm caught up on the supers as of this moment. Any $20 haulers who get immediate attention. Keep sending the super chats on in. Wild Bill says I've given more thumbs up than a chronic hitchhiker. Thank you, pal. Appreciate you. Wild Bill to the moon. This super chat from Ethan, $10 hauler. Team is Josh Allen, running back Kyren Williams, Bijan, Mason, CMC, Irving, Mostert, wide receiver Neighbors, Hill, Debo. Your wide receivers are off the hook. Trade my Bijan and two of my bench guys for Saquon. Of course I would do that. Of course I would do that. Juju, anybody. Throw Stevenson in there. Throw Mostert in there. I don't care. I mean, Kyren, I don't know that I'd give up Mason and Bijan for Saquon necessarily. But anybody else, like, would I even be tempted to throw in? I'd throw in anybody else. Mostert, Stevenson, Juju. I don't know that that's going to do it. I'd rather trade Bowers than get rid of any of the other core pieces of your team. Or would I just trade CMC and Mason for Barkley and then give up a bench piece and then keep Bijan? Either way, I would attack it that way for sure. Solid trade. Appreciate your super chat. Made some trades. Team is now Allen, Achane, Barkley, Neighbors, St. Brown, Njoku, Dell, Benches, AR5, DJ Moore, Brooks. Love it. Any moves? Brooks and Tracy. Brooks or Tracy with, probably not. I'd say his team's pretty fire, bro. The only thing I'd even be tempted to do, and I love Tank Dell, but if you could upgrade Dell and Brooks into one Tyreek Hillish player, that's the move, bro. That is the move. That's the only move. JJ, St. Brown, Tyreek Hill. You got St. Brown already. It'd have to be that caliber of a player. JJ, Jamar Chase, CD. CD's the cheapest. Tyreek Hill is pretty damn cheap. DJ Moore. Can you keep Dell and do DJ Moore? DJ Moore might have more value than Dell anyway. DJ Moore and Brooks for one player. Try and get Tyreek Hill. I would settle for even an RB in this situation. But Achane comes to mind. Do it live, bro. Fantastic. Fantastic team. All right, let's put the schedule up too so we can reference this damn thing. All right, put the schedule up. We got the bye weeks. Everybody, there's only 2 bye weeks. It's the Dallas Cowboys and the Chicago Bears, if anybody didn't know. Let's put this up here so we can reference this bad boy as we have our little conversations. Bye weeks in the corner here. All right, Ethan, appreciate your super chat. Ethan says team is QB, Josh Allen, Kyron, Bijan, Mason, CMC. Oh, is this the one I already read? Yeah, I already read this one. Thank you. Appreciate you, pal. This one's from, I don't know how to say your name. Appreciate you, though. Thanks for the advice you gave out, bro. I use your channel as a way to get my mind out of some stuff. Probably one of my favorite channels out there. Appreciate you for the super chat and the kind words, pal. Glad we're there for you. Look, I try and be entertaining as possible on top of informative. That's the goal here. I think we do a damn good job. Gotta apologize to Ron Navy. He was right about Tomlin. He really does need to be fired. Even Arthur Smith ain't happy about Fields being benched. Bro, this is the dumbest decision by a head coach I've seen in a long time. The fact that Tomlin does not understand. The fact that some Steeler fans don't even understand. They think this is a move that needs to be done. Like, no, it doesn't. You don't make this move. Everyone can see this move coming that is a debacle and a mistake. Everybody here, the only thing Tomlin's doing is putting one game in jeopardy, because if Russell Wilson is so bad, they're going to have to pull him, put Fields back in, and try and salvage the game. Or they lose a game trying this out. The Russell Wilson's confidence is shot. His confidence is shot. He's looking over his shoulder. He's a foot shorter. He's 10 times slower. And he's washed. This is probably one of the biggest mistakes Tomlin could make. And there's no excuse. There's zero excuse. And this is from a football perspective. All of the chattering Charlies out there that want to run their mouth about this, don't even dare start saying what you've been saying. I'll tell you that right now. Let bygones be bygones, bro. Let's move on from that. You know who I'm talking about. It's 2 of you. But this is coming from a football perspective. This is coming from a football perspective, not a fantasy perspective. This is the dumbest move Tomlin could make. The dumbest. Absolute dumbest. Mr. T, appreciate you. 12-team PPR. Do I trade? My team is Mahomes, Achane, Connor, Metcalf, Devontae. It's a good squad. Let's see here. Mahomes, Achane, Connor, Metcalf, Adams, Brock. I mean, I hate that you've got Worthy and MHJ and Tracy on your bench. Like, if I were you, I'd be making some trades. I don't know. You could trade Connor, like even MHJ and Connor, for a bigger upgrade. Maybe do a 2-for-2, a creative 2-for-2 might help you, so you don't lose too much depth. But Connor and MHJ for Hill and something. Devontae and Tracy, Devontae and MHJ for CD and something. Those are the 2 moves, bro. There's not much more to go after, I think, than that make a lot of sense right now, unless you're going to maybe go after like Gibbs or Achane type player that's in my top 7 running backs that is getting undervalued and disrespected like Achane and Gibbs are. Sit one between Reed, DK, Metcalf, Dell. Thanks again. You probably have to sit Dell here, but I hate this question. I'll tell you that. And I think we're going to be wrong on it over and over and over. Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny that there's even people that defend this situation at all. It's so wild to me. Rather than just recognize that it's a mistake, they defend it. Well, we have to go through this process. No, you don't. You start your best quarterback. You start the guy that's got you 4 wins. It's ridiculous. It's wild. It's reckless. It's ridiculous. It's uncalled for. And Tomlin really is making a massive mistake. Not to mention, Tomlin should be fired alone for the fact that he never, ever gave Fields the benefit of the doubt. He only started because Russell wasn't ready. And even when he took the job away, and he did take the job away, and everybody with the brain can see that, it's wild to me that there's even a single person that puts their hat on that side of the conversation. It's crazy, man. Wild. What a ridiculous move. Tomlin's definitely off his rocker. Off his rocker. So wild. All right, let's hit the phone lines.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Hit me with it. Hit me with it one more time. Gavin, you're live, Gavin.
Okay. I was wondering if you could rate my running backs and receivers real quick. I have Bijan, Gibbs, and Javonte. And then my receivers are Jefferson, Chase, and Debo.
You just calling in to brag or what? And what is this, a 4-man league?
12 team.
I call cap. But you want me to rate your team? Okay. We'll give you a 90.1 on the RBs, okay, because I love Gibbs. We're going to give you a 99.9 on the wide receivers, and we'll pump your head up a little more. What's your QB looking like, pal?
It's not the greatest. I have Geno and Fields.
Okay, so you're in a little trouble there.
And I have Bowers.
Okay, Bowers, that's great. That's we'll give that a 90. Okay, so you're looking good. You're scoring a 90 at tight end. You're scoring a 99.9 at wide receiver. You got a flat 90.1 at RB. You're looking good. A+ team, and then you get a C for your QB room. Who's on the waiver wire?
There's not really a lot of waiver wire QBs. It's like Dalton. That's kind of all.
Yeah. Can you make a trade maybe?
Not. I could. The guy that has Daniels has Mahomes on his bench.
Well, let's get on the ringer and make that trade. Part of me wonders, what running backs does he have? Could you trade Bijan for an RB and Mahomes?
He has Mixon.
Which he may do. I mean, you don't know until you try.
You do Bijan for Mahomes and Mixon?
Absolutely. Look, Mixon's playing out of his mind, bro. You have no quarterback. I'm not starting Geno all year. I'm not out of my mind there. This is a good trade. Or you punt the tight end position. I know you got Bowers. You're excited about him. You can sleep well at night because you don't have to search the waiver wire every week. But I would throw Bowers and a QB at Mahomes. And what's his tight end situation look like?
I think he has Kincaid.
So trade Kincaid for Bowers, take the gamble, and get Mahomes so you have a quarterback.
He offered me, I think it was Debo and Bowers for Daniels and Devontae Smith.
Debo and Bowers for Daniels and wow. Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah, bro. Bowers and Debo for Devontae Smith, who's had his bye week already. So you're taking Devontae Smith, you're putting him in your lineup. You're taking Debo out. You're taking Bowers out. I don't know if you can get Kincaid somehow, but and then you get Mahomes.
I have Njoku.
Oh, you're probably fine. Yeah, bro. That's great. You have Njoku. This team is vastly improved. And Njoku over Bowers, not the best move, one could make, but you had the expense of what? Getting Devontae Smith and Debo swapped out. Some would argue that's even, especially with the bye week out of the way. Mahomes as your new quarterback?
Close.
Smash, bro. I like it.
85.
What?
85.
85.
Didn't you say you get 85?
Oh, sorry, JD5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sorry, JD5. I was thinking of the other one as well. Okay, JD5. So you got JD5, you got Devontae Smith, you got Njoku. Bro, your lineup just went up times 5. Now you got a 90.1 still in this room. Let's say this goes down to a 95%. I'm just throwing these arbitrary fun numbers out of the air. Let's say Njoku's an 80 still, and now you have a 99.9 QB. Let's call it. That's a solid team, bro. Smash it. Do it live. All right, gotta go, bro. Gavin to the moon.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Travis, you're live.
Hey, so what running back combo do you like better right now? Chuba and Brooks, or Dobbins and Vidal?
Chuba and Brooks, or Dobbins and Vidal? Chuba and Brooks.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been playing amazing. And I know it could get cloudy. I get that, but it's not like the Chargers situation is not cloudy.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if maybe, I guess they could both use them. So I'm wondering if maybe the way the Chargers are, if Dobbins is, going to be the guy until he hits, burns out, or if he can do it all year, fine. And then if he goes, then Vidal is the guy. If it might be a little more murky.
But I think what I'd probably say though is like who's doing it, who's been doing it, and like at what point do you really discount Chubb? Like how long do we continue to say Chuba is gonna eventually fall off, or he's not gonna? Brooks has got a lot of ramping up to do. I don't know, and if it happens,
that's kind of what I've been thinking. But.
And if the changeover happens, I don't know. What's the chat think? Jake Dobbins, J.K. Dobbins, and Vidal or Chuba Brooks. Vote in the chat.
I find a lot of people are doubt Chuba and basically value him as nothing in the trade market.
Keep in mind there's 2 or 3 people that are continuing to post Dobbins in the chat over and over.
Yeah,
So it's not like there's multiple votes. It's the same people. It's the same 3 people. But vote. Very close. We got a Chuba vote, a Dobbins vote, a Dobbins vote. Chuba, Dobbins to IR says. Dobbins, Chuba, Dobbins. Yeah, it's very even. I probably the one thing is like Carolina does suck, but they do run the ball well. They really do.
Yeah. And I've been throwing different trades out there with, Chuba attached to some players, and I've got nothing back. I mean, Chuba has it's 2 different leagues, so it's only 2 leagues. I understand it, but people do not want him.
Keep in mind, we don't for sure know that Vidal is gonna, like, when push comes to shove, and if that time comes, like, that he'll be positioned right. Like, this is an unknown situation. Like, Harbaugh is so wild. You don't know. I'm keeping Brooks in Chuba. All right, hang tight real quick. Let me go over to TJ. TJ, you're live.
Yep.
Hey, Smitty, would you rather have JD5 or Hurts rest of the season, do you think?
JD5 probably, but the only hesitation is just that getting that bye out of the way, the fact that he's top 3 or 4 anyway. And as much as I love JD5, and I think even this week JD5 is going to go crazy, you're still looking at a guy that's a rookie that could have some ups and downs. And the sad part about the fickle fantasy football landscape is that if he ends up having, let's say, a 0 passing touchdown game and no rushing touchdowns, but is efficient, because he's always really efficient, and he has like 245 yards, people are going to go, he's just a game man. Like after one game, they're going to be like, he's just a game manager. He's too volatile. Like, it's going to be one game and everyone's going to run away from him. But he could have those, But you could also say that the Eagles are kind of in shambles, But they so were they last year, though. And Hurts was still remarkable. Like Hurts is always going to be able to produce. They were absolutely in bad shape last year. In 2023, he was a top 6 QB 11 times. He was a top 10 QB 13 times, 81% of his games. And he's had 15 and 13 rushing touchdowns in back-to-back games. He's had 3 seasons. He's had 3 straight years with 10-plus touchdowns. So, like, he's Mr. Consistency. But I think if I was up to me, I'd go JD5, but by a hair. It's not like some far-off, thing.
Yeah, well, I have both of them. So is there a wide receiver that you'd trade the other one for?
So in that situation, I'm giving up either one that makes my team better.
Okay.
You've got to be open-minded, because you may miss on an opportunity that's like literally, going to make your team significantly better. But yeah, if you have, let's say Hurts, if I'm going to keep JD5, what's your record, first of all?
4-2.
So you can afford to wait on
I'm fine with trading a buy.
You can wait. Yeah, you can afford to wait on a buy. But I mean, bro, the thing is, though, if I would have told you, like at the beginning of the year, that a player didn't have a buy, he was the only player, he's a top 5 or 6 pick, let's say that, but he doesn't have a buy, he's the only player that won't have a bye week. You draft him 1 overall. If he was like in the top 5 or whatever, it'd just be such a huge advantage. Like it's weird to me that no one looks at the bye week advantages at all. But your 4 wins, you're probably set up pretty good. You never know, though. But that's a huge advantage.
Right. I just don't know, like Tyreek or like Ayuk.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not Ayuk. I would trade either one for CeeDee Lamb, obviously. And if JD5 could get me Lamb and Hurts could only get me Hill, I'd go with Lamb. Mm-hmm. So it just depends. But I think Hill, CD, JJ, Jamar Chase, it has to be one of those guys, bro. And if not, then you're going after Achane, you're going after Gibbs. If you've got to throw in a little bit to get CeeDee Lamb, I'd do that. If you got to make it a 2 for 2 that you like quietly, and he thinks he's getting, making out on that second part, then I do a 2 for 2. 2 for 2s might be the easier way to try and make this thing work.
Okay. I agree. Okay.
All right. Got to roll, bro. Later.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Jack from Virginia.
Hey, Smitty, what's going on?
What's up? As fast as you can. I can't do full team breakdown.
Yeah, I got you. No, it's not a full team breakdown. All right, just want to go over a trade I just did. PPR, Superflex. You know the drill. I traded away Monty, Fields, and Bucky Irving, and I was able to get Achane, Mason, and Bigsby. Just want to hear your thoughts on that.
Robbery? I mean, wasting my marker. You traded Monty for Achane and Mason, essentially, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Smash.
Fields and Bucky, and then I was able to get Bigsby too.
Yeah.
Smash.
Of course, bro.
Awesome. And then real quick, what are your thoughts on Drake May with the rest of the season? I think I'm playing in my Superflex league over Mahomes. I know you're gonna give him crap for that, but I feel like he's got a lot of upside. Maybe I'm crazy though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing that, but I mean, first of all, it's a London game. I hate that.
Yeah, that's true.
I think, Jacksonville's the right matchup for it, I suppose. But I think you're putting a little bit too much excitement on this thing. I like May a lot.
Is it worth a hold at least?
You what?
Is he worth a hold at least?
Yeah, of course. But I mean, trust your gut, bro. If May has 3 TDs and Mahomes has 1, you're going to be pissed off. So trust your gut. But, bro, I'm not sitting Mahomes. I get everybody's off the Mahomes train. That's fine. There's not a lot of people.
Sorry, Marvin, too.
There's not a lot of people on the Mahomes train with me right now, but that's okay. I'm not digging my heels in.
I want to get on with you.
Well,
I have him on my bench.
I know, but you do what you got to do. All right, nice trade. Got to go.
Right.
Later.
All right, man. Thank you. Later.
All right, next up is Theo from Illinois.
What do I need for a Gotham? I just took advantage of an Achane owner in Dynasty and traded Ayuk for him. I remember when you're Achane live when you said his name like 500 or 5,000 times, and I've been one of his biggest fans since. The funny thing is I feel like Ayuk is probably just as risky.
You know what's fun? Yeah, true. You know what's funny is, like, I don't understand why people say things like Achane's been so disappointing this year, and like he's halfway been disappointing, halfway been remarkable. Like coming out of week 2, we were all just cheering his name. He was a top 2 running back, I believe, coming out of week number 2. I believe that was where he's ranking. Travis, do you remember where he was ranking? I think he was 2.
Yeah, it was right around there. Let's see.
I want to say it was like running back 2 overall after 2 games. Let me see. I can pull up his.
Yeah, because he was running back 3 and running back 2.
1 and running back 2.
Yeah, 3 and 2, 3 and 2, and people are like, he's been so disappointing. As if they don't want to mention why. Like, what's been happening? Well, God, Tua's been out. Okay, well, who's coming back? Like, come on. What more do you need? Not to mention Mostert's back, so like there's that whole workload thing that you got balanced out again. You're not giving Achane all these up the gut carries. You got to get him in the explosive plays. But it's so freaking wild to me that people say things like that, like, oh, he's such a bad year. It's like he was running back 2 and running back 3 and running back 2
he
overall.
Had 7 receptions in his first 2 games.
He had 7 targets in back-to-back games, caught all 7 of them in the first 2 games. So, yeah, I love that people are doubting Achane. Like, give me a break. It's like okay, when the sun's out,
and they went for 10 yards a catch.
When the sun's out, the crops grow. Okay, now the sun goes down, the crops aren't growing. The sun goes away for 3 or 4 weeks straight, and the crops are just they're dying off. And somebody's literally going, I just can't believe these crops. They're horrible crops. And somebody's telling you, hey, the sun's coming back up next week and it's going to be steady the rest of the way, Smitty. And these people are like, I just don't believe in these crops anymore. Even though the sun's coming back. Like, what are people doing? What are people doing with their life? I don't understand. Smash of a trade. I take it all day. You hit it on the nail on the head that Ayuk's got just as much risk. All right. Hey, I'll see you later,
right.
Theo. Nice trade. Way to take advantage of your grandma.
Thank you.
All right, later. Fun Antonio. I can't wait to talk to Fun Antonio. Fun Antonio, you're live.
What's the word, Smitty?
What's up?
So I got offered Komet and Brian Thomas. No, I got offered Brian Thomas for Komet and Worthy. How do you feel about that?
Komet and Worthy, and you get BT. I could get behind. I could get behind that. I could get behind either side. I love Worthy a lot, but I think I'd rather have BT.
I'm not gonna lie.
Huh?
I'd rather have BT because you got me loving Worthy.
Yeah, I'd rather have BT. This is being completely honest and objective. I'd rather have BT. BT's the number one. But bro, one big game of what I've been waiting for and expecting out of Worthy, and I'm telling you right now, I'm swinging over to the other side. But it's that close. I'm like wavering. But BT's a little bit safer.
One last question.
Agree with you on BT. I was just gonna say that Worthy coming out of a bye is very interesting.
Yeah, and just the whole team coming out of the bye and being in a rhythm and everything.
Right.
So you think I should wait one more week?
No, not necessarily. You know what? I will say this
No.
week. I mean, I hate that. I hate that overseas game. Like, this is the kind of thing. Like, and
Yeah,
I don't watch the early first half of that game because it's too early in Arizona. I'm live until 2 a.m. and so I usually wake up and for whatever reason the Jaguars are always overseas. I don't understand why they're always the team overseas. Always, they're always overseas. I look at it and they're sitting there. And I look at the score. I get up, my eyes, I got like crust in my eyes. I'm like pulling my eyes open. I could barely see. And I pull up ESPN.com. I pull up the score, and I look at it, and I'm blinking a couple times because it's blurry. And I'm shocked that I see single digit score against single digit score, and it's halftime. And I'm like, oh great, let me look at this box score. 20 yards is the best running back rushing yard total. 33 yards and 3 catches. It's like I hate overseas games. They suck. It's the worst thing ever invented.
All right, one last question.
So I'm almost tempted to say Worthy is what I'm trying to tell you for this week, but let me think for a second. I mean, the Niners are not that they're not that scary. Like, they're a good opportunistic defense. But you could score on the damn Niners. Like, it's possible. And this is a attempt at a revenge game for the Niners that I don't know how it's gonna go.
All right. And if Cup don't play, who would you rather play? Pick 2: Pittman, Worthy, or Christian Kirk?
Well, then we just go through this with Worthy. So I have a feeling you now get to start Worthy because as of right now, I don't know that Cup is trending that way. But let me pull up the Cup news because this could be breaking as we speak. I don't see anything right now. We'll have to play by ear, bro.
All right, thank you.
All right, later. All right, Chris from South Carolina. Chris. Then I got to get to these super chats.
Alright, so my first question, Mason or Chase Brown?
Mason or Chase Brown? I'm probably going to go... Chat, can we vote on that one? Mason, Chase Brown? I'm probably going to say... This is in Cleveland. And obviously in San Francisco. That KCD is so tough, bro. It's so tough, but at the same time, again, this is the second leading rusher, the second attempt to get her, the second 20-plus yard gainer in the National Football League at the RB position. It's like, he is a stud. When you say start your studs, he's been a stud all year. He's number 2.
Yeah, I'm just scared he's going to get hurt, you know what I'm saying? Like, might land on his shoulder or something.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be a grade 1, which there's no real the re-injury risk is kind of low. It's more so pain tolerance, but maybe the pain's that bad. I don't know. And maybe Shanahan's like, I don't know, want to rotate Garendo with him until CMC comes back just to make sure recovered. It's hard to know. But, Cleveland's not a walk in the park either. But
yeah.
I think I go with Mason, bro. The volume seems until Chase Brown fully takes over, like Moss gets injured or something, I think I'm going Mason. I don't think I could sit him. It might be the wrong choice, but I think 8 times out of 10 it's the right choice.
We still consider him Mason a stud. Like, does he fall under the start your stud still, or is he moved into like a little bit more questionable?
Until he falls off, he is. I mean, he's the second, running back in the National Football League in almost every category.
Right.
All right. And my other question was Trey McBride or
Evan Ingram. With this overseas game, I'm gonna say McBride. I don't want a lot of this overseas game. BT maybe, but that's it.
Okay. So Mason over BT though.
Yeah. PPR or have PPR, BT safer.
PPR.
Yeah, BT safer.
Okay. All right. Thank you, man.
All right, later, bro. All right, Travis, final thoughts here. I got to get to these super chats, so go ahead if you got something else.
Yeah, I've been checking in on like your value on Puka off and on every couple of weeks. Would you still trade him for Pickens, or has he slid out of that?
I'd rather have Puka Nacua than Pickens, especially if you can weather it. If you can weather it, it's not like killing you or crushing you. I'd rather.
What about? How about like Ayuk or Worthy?
Over
Puka.
I'd rather have Ayuk over Puka for sure. Worthy, probably. Yeah.
All right. No, it gives me a good.
I'm
good
higher
number.
on Worthy than most people, though. All right, Travis. Thanks,
yeah,
pal.
I still am too. So
we'll probably be
Thanks,
live
man. Talk to
again.
you later.
We'll probably be live again later tonight too. All right,
right.
later. All right, let me go through these super chats. Blake, appreciate your super chat here. I've got a bunch more that I haven't put on the screen yet, so know that I'm gonna come for them in a second. Start one: Sermon, Pittman, Douglas, Kirk, Ridley. I'm gonna go probably Sermon for safety here, I guess, but this is a tough call, very close call. Mostert, Davis, and Kincaid for Kyron. Of course, I would take Kyron. Like that's not even. You're offering a bunch of like. You're offering like 10 cents, 20 cents, and 50 cents for like a $100 bill. So, Benzo, I don't know how you're even doing that, or if you're just coming up with a trade that's going to get rejected very quickly. Just traded my Bijan. I don't know if you mean Myers or Mayer, the tight end, because you're spelling it wrong either way. Bijan, and I'm going to say Myers. And Irving for Saquon by a mile. If it's Mayer, it's still the same answer, so it doesn't even matter. Jesse, appreciate you. 10-team league redraft. JD5, Hall, Kenneth Walker, Jamar Chase, Neighbors, Wilson, London, great team. Cooper Kupp, CMC, come on. 10-team league, I call cap on that. Olave, Brooks. Any trade suggestions? I mean, of course, I'm trying to upgrade Kenneth Walker into Gibbs or Achane, using Brooks, using Olave, using Garrett Wilson. Barkley would be obviously better than that even. Upgrading Garrett Wilson using Olave, using Brooks, trying to get a Tyreek Hill, trying to get a CD Lamb to smash your league even further. Jesse, those would be the moves, the absolute top shelf level moves to make. JSN Waddle for Ayuk, full PPR. I'd rather have Ayuk. I think the upside is still there. Start one, Pop, Worthy, Juju, Worthy by a country mile. If ETN play him or Tank, I'm still. If they're both playing, probably ETN, but I don't think he'll be. I guess if he plays, make sure there's not a snap count. Hi, Smitty Flex 2, JSN, Hunt, Ayuk, Maury Cooper. I'm going to go Hunt and Ayuk, but pretty close, arguable, if you will. Drop Ray Davis for Sharps. Or no, drop Ray Davis, Sharps, or Wicks, or Slayton to cuff Kyron. I would probably drop Wicks, I suppose. Good question, though. Close enough. Honestly, you could go in either direction, Wicks or, any one of those guys, really. I'd probably lean toward. Let me put that back up on the screen real quick. I'd probably lean toward keeping Sharps and Davis, so Wicks or Slayton. Nuke some White Castle sliders, loving the show. Thank you, Malik. Attaboy on the White Castle. Those are pretty good. Need one flex, Wicks, Wilson, or Ray, or Keon. Go Wilson. Wilson's pretty solid. Just make sure he's good to go and he's playing and everything. Trade my Jacobs and Worthy for DK Pollard. Look, is that CMC or Olave? I'd rather have probably, I don't know. Chad, are we taking the gamble on CMC or Olave? I'd love to see what the chat says on that one. CMC or Olave, straight up. That's a wild question. It pulls at your I don't want to say your heartstrings. It pulls at your brain strings. Like, what is the logical move and what is the hopeful move? Olave or CMC? We got a lot of CMC votes. Olave, or I'm sorry, CMC, Olave, CMC, Olave, CMC, none, neither, Olave or Worthy. I'd probably go Worthy. CMC, but neither. CMC. I'd probably say, like, McCaffrey's got the better trade value, so if you could flip it, he's coming back. His value is only going to go up until he, like, falters or something or gets injured. So, like, you could probably get a little more. Like, you could almost turn him into Hill. So, I would say for the trade purposes now, I'd go CMC. But, like, if Olave's back, I kind of like Olave more. And I'd rather have DK Pollard. And then I flip Pollard. Yeah, flip Pollard. Pick one, Achane, or Achane. I'd probably go with the third Achane, just because it's more annoying to somebody when you say it 3 times. They stop listening to you after 4, but 3 really pisses people off. Pick 2, PPR, Hunt, Chase Brown, B-Rob. B-Rob's been banged up and is banged up, so you got to go with the first 2, pal. Thank you, Frost. Appreciate you. That boy, appreciate you. Have Achane. There's an opportunity to buy Hill, but I'm 3-3. Do I pass on it or go after Saquon using Achane? I would rather have Saquon than Achane, but it depends on what you're giving up. And do I want Hill? And yeah, but I need to know what the deal is. But yes, I want Hill. Bye week out of the way. Could be a top 5 wide receiver. Traded Tony Pollard and Kupp for Hill. That could go either way, but I probably would rather have Hill by a hair with Tua coming back in week 8. And then Kupp may not play this week, and so you get the extra game anyway. I have Gibbs, Achane, Brooks. Yeah, good squad, Alejandro. I like your team. TP, appreciate you. In a debacle, running back 1, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. Current starters are Cousins, Bijan, MHA, Reed. This is just the current Mahomes, Achane, McLaurin. It's a good team. I like the squad. I don't know if you could maybe trade something along the lines of Mason, get out of the Mason situation, upgrade, Reed and Mason for a Lamb, Mason for Tyreek Hill type of maneuver. TP. I like the squad though. Very solid. You starting Tank or Achane this week? Achane for me. Love them both. Start BT or Dell. I'm going to go probably BT for safety, Dell for higher risk, higher reward. You've got to pick your poison based on what you need. Start May or Mahomes. We already talked about this Mahomes. Come on. I like May, but he's overseas. He's a rookie still. He's going to be up and down. Likely or for Juju, I could get behind either side. If you need a wide receiver, Juju. If you need a tight end, likely still very solid. Got Mike Evans for Dell and JMO. That could go either way, because Mike Evans is older and been banged up. But I'd probably lean toward Mike Evans, but it's definitely a risk and upside. Pop, Bigsby, Ridley, May, or Murray. I'm going Murray, and I'm going probably Bigsby out of this question here. Appreciate your super chat. Samuel, thank you. Traded Mahomes and Brooks for Adams. Trade broke out 30 minutes after completed. Traded Pollard and DJ Moore weeks ago for Tyreek. That's a fantastic trade. And traded Kincaid, Trey and Dobbins for Bowers. I could get behind every single one of those trades. Fantastic job, Samuel. A+. Way to make your team better across the board. Samuel with another. Have Drake, May as QB, running back JT, Tracy, Chubb, Isaac, Garendo, Braylon Allen, Keaton, Mitchell, wide receiver Tyreek, Adams, Kupp, tight end Bowers, got Fields on the bench. My QBs suck. Okay, well, Chubb might be a trade piece for you, but you're kind of thin at running back anyway. I'd be tempted to. You kind of gotta wait a week. Every single one of your players is a wait and see, bro. You're gonna have to stand down on this one. There's nothing to do unless you're trading. Let's say you can't. I mean, we're gonna trade JT hurt. You're gonna trade Chubb before he's done anything. You're gonna trade You're going to trade Tyreek Hill before he's bounced back, Devontae Adams before, unless you can trade Devontae Adams for like a Achane or Bijan or especially a Gibbs, even if you give up something small, or throw in Bowers and do some creative 2-for-2, like you get Achane and Hill for like Bowers and Adams, or you know what I mean? Like, otherwise you're probably standing down because your team needs to deliver before any one of those guys gets value. 10-man PPR made a lot of moves. Team is now Josh Allen, Kyren, Saquon, Mason, CMC, Stevenson, Chandler, Hill, Neighbors, Debo. Love the receivers, fantastic receivers. Bowers, unbelievable quarterback. Kyren, Saquon, Mason. Not a thing I'd do with this team. The only thing I'd even consider is Mason and CMC for a Gibbs. Mason and a CMC and a non-top 3 wide receiver off your team. So anybody else, or Stevenson straight up, throw in Mason, CMC, and Stevenson, throw them in to get an Achane, to get a Gibbs. If you could start, that's what I'd do. Other than that, Ethan, I hold. That team is fantastic. Making a single trade other than trading away Mason for a safer player is just a mistake. Such a good team. Fantastic squad. So, what else we got? What else we got? Zach Moss worth dropping for Dell? Absolutely. 100%. 100%, bro. Still have Achane, Pollard, Ramondre White. Well, Achane's the stud of that group. It's not even close. Justin, appreciate you. Pick 2. Justin says pick 2, running back, 2 wide receiver. Pick 2, running back, 2 wide receiver in a flex. Achane, Mason, J-Mo, probably Ladd, and it's either Hunt or Walker. If Walker can play, you play Walker. You may go Hunt over Mason though too. You could go Achane, Walker, Hunt, and then and play Mason for Walker if Walker sits. But yeah, you know what? Achane, Mason's matchup is tough. Go Achane, Walker, Hunt if Walker plays. And got CD plus Olave out. Yeah. Justin, it's a good squad. Okay, I sent Mason for BT. Was that a mistake? Yeah, I don't like that. For this week, BT over Mason, not for the season, bro. Mac with the $20 hauler, 8-man, 3-3. Mayfield, Evans, London, Hall, Kyren, great team. Worthy, Dobbins, Mahomes, 1 QB. Who to start this week? Any good trades? I'd be looking to maybe move Hubbard while you still can. Hubbard and BT for a Lamb for a top level wide receiver. Dobbins. I literally trade Dobbins and BT and Hubbard for like a CD Lamb or a Gibbs or something like that. As far as your team, especially in an 8-man, because the waivers are probably loaded. But as far as your team, I mean, you're starting Kyren, you're starting Breece Hall, you're starting Evans, you're starting London. You're probably going to go with, I'm going Mahomey and probably Dobbins, I suppose. And if you need another flex play for any reason, it's probably between Hubbard and Worthy, and Hubbard's probably got the safe call. It's a great team, though. And again, real quickly before I close, I appreciate your $20 hauler. I'm definitely holding Hall. I'm holding Kyren. I'm holding Mahomes because you can't even sell him anyway. It really, even though I love BT, it's really about upgrading BT and Dobbins. Try Tyreek Hill. Try Lamb. You got to give up 3 of those lower tier guys, not the top level guys, to get CD Lamb. I'd take it. Oh, you said you had Lamb did you say you had Lamb on a bye? Or is that not your team? Who to start? 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex. 1 running back's going to be Achane. Your 2 wide receivers are going to be MHJ and Reed. And your 2 flexes are going to be Monty and Bijan. No, probably McLaurin and Monty. That's tough, bro. You got to make a trade, TP. You can't sit there and try to balance this every week. Achane, Reed, MHJ. Bijan, Monty, or McLaurin, Monty. Guys, if you got to start 2, which one do you start? What 2 do you start at? A Monty, McLaurin, and Bijan. Please vote. Monty, McLaurin, Bijan. Pick 2. Monty, McLaurin, Bijan. Pick 2 for TP. Let's give TP our undivided attention. Appreciate you, TP. Thomas with a $20 hauler. Thomas, appreciate you. Cup is late slot, and my entire bench except for Andrews plays in the early slot. Do you preemptively start Amari Waddle or Tracy over him? We'll know in the morning, Thomas. I can't say right now. Right now, take him out and then let the news dictate. You know what I mean? So right now, I'd probably put in, I'd put in Tracy for safety, and then let's let the news pry Tracy out of the lineup. That's the safer move. If you feel like it becomes less ambiguous, then throw him in and then use your Andrews sub opportunity. But I think we'll know before kickoff of the morning games. But I would definitely put the safe player in now. All TD, 6 points, non-PPR, Mahomes, Neighbors, or JD5 Dell. Give me Mahomes and Neighbors. I personally would take the gamble on that. I know some people wouldn't, but I think getting Neighbors is huge. Pick 4, Chase, Debo, MHJ, Cup, if he plays, or Dell. I'm going to go Chase, Debo, Cup, and Dell over MHJ. And if Cup sits, then obviously your decision is made for you. But I just think Dell's going to have... I go Dell. I love MHJ, I do, but I think Dell is a day. 10 team, 2 and 4, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 flex. Hurts. Any trades? I'd probably say with this squad, it's trying to get rid of maybe Chuba or Jacobs. And I don't know if you could even trade both of them for like 1 player. Chuba and Jacobs for like Gibbs or... I don't even know if Walker's a full upgrade. Achane would be unreal, but you got him already. That's the best buy low for that situation. Bijan maybe, but Gibbs, Bijan. JT injured is interesting using Jacobs and Chuba. Past that, bro. Unless you're trading like MHJ and Chuba or MHJ and Jacobs for CeeDee Lamb. Larry, I could do that. I'd be all for that trade. Start 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, 1 flex. I'm going to go Devontae Smith, BT, and Mason. If you want safety, Tracy over Mason, but I'm going to go Mason. Let me see real quick if there's another question in there. Likely Andrew starting London and Achane. Yeah. Appreciate you. Castro to the moon. Larry. Did I already do this one? Bench Jacobs. Yeah, this is the one I was saying to trade Chuba and MHJ for CeeDee Lamb. Thank you, Larry. Appreciate you. Help need to drop 1 for a defense. Probably dropping out of this group here. If you need the receiver, keep Juju and drop Irving. Irving's in a running back by committee. It sucks. It is what it is. He was such a good prospect, and then Sean Tucker came in. I missed the call-ins again in a 3 wide receiver league. Geno, Gibbs, Achane, Standard. Oh no, St. Brown. Debo, Dell, McBride, Worthy, bench Najee, Tracy, Brooks. Okay, trade for Hill. He also has Mason and Bijan. I definitely try and trade for Tyreek Hill like a Brooks and I'd do Brooks and Dell for Hill. I would do that for Lamb. I'd do that for Hill. I definitely think I would like to get into a better QB. So Mahomes on the low. I'd trade Brooks for Mahomes straight up. Najee and Dell for Hill could work. For Najee and even Debo for Lamb. Najee and Brooks for Hill would be great too if you didn't have to give a receiver. Najee and Brooks for Bijan even. Would I give up Brooks or Najee for Mason? Would I give up both of them for Mason? I'd probably take the chance on Mason. Thank you, Shotty. Appreciate you. All right, guys, I'll be back later tonight, most likely, to do more start bench stuff. If I missed anybody's super chat, I don't think I did, but if I did, just put a bunch of dollar emojis in the comments section. Don't fake it or I'll know and I won't answer the question. But put a bunch of dollar emojis in the chat, like consecutive, get my attention, and so you miss my super chat. I'll see you all later. Appreciate you. Travis, on my way out, anything urgent?
I just got a trade offer. I got to make a quick decision on. I would be giving up Brian Thomas Jr., Dalton Kincaid, and Braylon Allen. I don't have Brees. And I'd get back Bowers and Olave.
Bowers and Olave.
I guess my only hesitation is, does Kincaid bounce back enough to where...
I would say I'd take the Bowers-Olave side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Olave and Brian Thomas.
Yeah.
Similar enough.
I would take it. It's close, though.
All
right. Got to run. Appreciate you. Later.
Yeah.
Okay, Lloyd, last one. Anybody drops a super chat on the way out the door, I got to run and just leave it in the comments. Or do a super thanks where you just click the $sign on the comment section, not the live stream, and you could drop a super thanks, and I can answer it that way too. But if anybody drops one, just put in the comments your question and repeat it. What's up, Smitty? Appreciate all the hard work. Appreciate you appreciating Lloyd. 12-man PPR. Any trades or upgrades with this team? I'd say Kyron Achane, love it. JJ Chase, love it. Laporta, love it. No. JK for Hill, JK, and you can't even really do anything, though. You know what I mean? You have nothing else. JK and Vidal for, like, can you do a straight Bijan, Tyreek Hill, MHJ, St. Brown, Mike Evans, JT? Straight up trade using the two backs and maybe a Dunze, maybe Hopkins, if he does something. Even next week, maybe this improves. But I don't want you touching Mahomes, Kyron, Achane, JJ, or Chase. So you're kind of pigeonholed into not doing anything at all, minus getting rid of JK on the high for those players I just named. Past that, I'm standing down. This team is straight fire. Straight fire. I'll see you. Thank you, Lloyd. I'll see you all later tonight, most likely. Hit that thumb up button on the way out the door. I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. Live whenever big news breaks. Appreciate every single one of you deuces. Again, if you drop a super on the way out, do a super thanks in the comments. But if you do drop one, just put it in the comments that you did it. I'm hitting the end button right now. I'll see you later tonight. Appreciate every single one of you.
Brees Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother freaking call. Don't let him fall. In the third, don't stall. Just give Batman the freaking football.
He's Brees. He's Brees.
He does a hull of a job. A hull of a job. A hull of a job.
Brees Hall, please report to the moon.
He does a hell of a job.